I really want to start this video off by just prefacing the fact that this game is incredibly gory and also incredibly violent, so if that's not your sort of thing, might want to click off now. So, is Doom Eternal better than Doom 2016? Before we get right into that, I do want to say that, as most could assume, these are my opinions, so you're obviously okay to disagree with them. In short though, yes, I do think Doom Eternal is better than Doom 2016, and I loved both games. And we're going to jump right into why I think it's better. First important topic is that it's more challenging. Not in a way that it takes away from the feeling that you got from Doom 2016 where you're really overpowered. That is definitely still there. But instead, this game pushes you to change out of what you usually did in Doom 2016. I'd say by the end of Doom 2016, you really could just run and gun with any gun you really wanted to, and there was really relatively almost no consequences for doing so. You were never really forced to change up your weapons unless you had just run out of ammo, and you needed to switch to something else before you can go grab some more. I know that's a bit of an over-exaggeration, but generally I think you get my point though. Especially once you play Doom Eternal. Ammo is so much more scarce for the circumstances you're met with in this game. But that doesn't mean that you'll generally ever be completely out of ammo and out of options. One of the cooler implementations they made with Doom Eternal's release is the fact that the fuel tank for your chainsaw will replenish when you're out of fuel. So in the previous game, you had to individually pick up each charge or gas can of the chainsaw, and when you would use it, it would insta-kill whatever you used it on besides, I think, like bigger bosses. Honestly, I can't remember for sure. And that enemy would drop a huge amount of ammo. So most of that is still there in Doom Eternal with some changes. The chainsaw will still one-shot grunt-like units, but it will only one-shot larger or more elite units if you have 3 charges of the fuel. Either way, that enemy will drop a lot of ammo. So what the game tries to encourage you to do is save some of those grunt enemies during your fights, so that when you run out of ammo, you can use the chainsaw on them and get it back. That also kind of leads us into another point that's pretty similar to this. You also die a lot quicker in this game, which once again incentivizes the fact that you leave some grunt enemies around so that you can glory kill them, which drops a lot of health packs. A glory kill, for those not familiar, is when you lower an enemy to a very small amount of health, then they start to glow blue and orange, and then if you melee them, you will brutally murder them. Like seriously, you've definitely seen some in this clip so far. But then that enemy will drop health. The game also delivers even more options when it comes to survivability, such as the flamethrower. Anytime that you light an enemy on fire, they'll drop armor. So if you spray this effect on a wave of enemies, every single one of them that you damage or kill will explode armor out of them. And this ability is on, honestly, a really relatively short cooldown. Beyond that, you also have a frag and freeze grenade, both of them being kind of obvious in probably what they do. Frag grenade is, well, a frag grenade. It causes an explosion in an area. Ice grenade, you just take those same properties and you just freeze all those enemies. This also letting you reposition pretty well and keep your survivability even higher. I usually like to partner this with the flamethrower if I could, because it wouldn't thaw out the enemies, but you'd still get the armor while they were locked in place. Pretty nice combo was when you're near death, you ice grenade, then flamethrower, then jump up and rocket launcher the whole area. Ultimately, I thought these changes were really good. It really encouraged me to move around even more so, especially with the dash they give you in this game. Essentially, this worked kind of like Celeste, if you've played that game. You have 2 dashes that will recharge after you touch the ground. But enabling the player to have access to this dash also made it to where they could scale up the damage from the enemies and also the sheer amount of enemies, and then also tune down the amount of ammo in the game to make it to where everything was balanced, but in a different direction from Doom 2016. Personally, it just made this game even more so my type of game. It made it like an FPS character action game, and that really appeals to me. That being said, I can really see why some people are really conflicted on if they like this game better or even at all. It's definitely a different game from Doom 2016. Moving from that, I'm keeping this pretty vague because I really just want you guys to go experience the game if you haven't yet, but I do think it's important to at least point out the gameplay changes because that's the most important part. While there's cool stuff about Doom Eternal's story, the main focus, and I don't really think this can really be argued, is the gameplay. So if this video got you excited to play it and you haven't tried it yet, I really do recommend trying it out. Although I do think I would advocate waiting for a sale, unless you have the money to blow. The game is super fun, don't get me wrong, but it's pretty short. Yes, there's replayability in the master levels, which are basically remixed levels of the original levels that you played, and there are collectibles to go back and get. But I mean, I still beat this game in like 8 hours, maybe less. Had a blast while doing it, but if there's a game that you think you'll sink some more time into right now that you'd rather buy, maybe go with that one, and just keep this one in the back of your mind, because it really is worth playing, but maybe when it's at a comfortable price for you. I mean, Doom 2016 was like $5 on Steam just a couple weeks ago. Granted, it's 4 years later after its release, so you don't have to wait that long, but it's just kind of case in point. It will go on sale at some point. Moving away from that tangent though, I previously brought up the story, and like I said, it really does do some cool stuff. I really don't want to spoil it in this video because, like I said, I want you to experience it yourself. But just know it is worth it to go back and read a lot of the codexes that you get throughout this game. While stopping and reading codexes is not really my favorite way of storytelling, it is seriously still worth the read. My one gripe with it though is just the fact that this game is so fast-paced, but then you have to stop and read to really get the full story. Minor gripe, I know, but it still bugged me. But honestly, you could just ignore the codexes. It's not recommended, but there are a lot of cool story things that get answered just within the regular main story and gameplay that you experience. Honestly, I think this is just another reason to show why I think Doom Eternal is better than Doom 2016. While there were some cool moments and everything, I think the story was just straight up better and more engaging in this. Obviously, you'll need to experience this for yourself to really be able to talk about it, but I really do think you'll agree. This is kind of where I want to put it on you guys. Let me know down below what you thought of the game, what you thought of the story, and what you thought of the gameplay. Did you like the changes? Was it too much of a change? Let me know what your favorite weapon was. Mine was personally the super shotgun. I know that's probably the most generic answer I could give, but I mean, it's super good. But I really don't want to make this video a long one, so I'm just going to wrap it up here. Kind of going back to my original types of videos, just with the format and structuring of this one. Let me know if this is something that still interests you guys, and if not, we can find something else. Regardless, if we do keep this around, I still do plan on just trying some different types of videos out, seeing what sticks. So yeah, if you are interested in that, please subscribe. It helps me out a ton. I'm very open to suggestions, and even just a couple nice words really helps me a lot. So thanks for sticking around, guys. Don't forget to comment down below with those questions I asked, and I'll see you in the next one.